Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the Mrs. O Show presenting the Surreal Sundays. And I'm your host, Old School Exit 9. And this evening, we're going to get into the first video is about a mother being accused of setting a 40-year-old man on fire for being found in bed with their 18-year-old daughter. So we're going to get into that video, dissect that a little bit. Then we're gonna spin off in regards to the older men and the PYT, the pretty young thing, while older men marry and date younger women. Okay, um, which is going to spin off into a talking about a certain celebrity who was of a certain age, 40 years of age, and decided to marry a teenager. Okay, and the backlash that he received on social media and the hypocrisy of our society in regards to this man and another man, another celebrity from the 50s and 60s who did the exact same thing. Not only did he not marry a teenager, he dated multiple teenagers. And we're going to find out just how young these teenagers were, but no backlash for this for that man and the hypocrisy of that. So we got that going on. We got snatch shenanigans and whiskey of the week and that hot video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go.
You are now listening to some old school shit.
So again, welcome back to Surreal Sundays. We're gonna get into this video. Mother accused of setting a 40-year-old man on fire, finding him in bed with their 18-year-old daughter. This footage is coming off of the Isaiah Factor Uncensored. Shout out to your show, sir. And let's hop right into it. Let's go.
And first up on the Factor tonight, we're talking age gaps in relationships. A mother in Philadelphia was unhappy after learning about her 18-year-old daughter's 40-year-old boyfriend. The mother is accused of getting violent with the boyfriend. Police say she set him on fire after finding him in her home and in bed with her daughter. Now, according to police, the girl's 35-year-old mother's boyfriend also shot the daughter's boyfriend. Neighbors say they heard screams for help and saw a man running out of the building on fire. Drivers had to stop to help.
What were they doing to save his life?
They jumped out of the car and poured water on him.
And what was he doing, screaming?
Yes, somebody help me, somebody help me.
Now, the 40-year-old man suffered critical injuries. Charges have yet to be announced for the mother and her boyfriend. Many people arguing whether or not it's appropriate for a young woman to be dating a man more than twice her age. Joining us to talk about it tonight, parents Lewis Hunter, Daylin Settle, therapist Dr. Christine Belliard, and licensed clinical social worker Joe Hartso. So
before the so-called professionals get in and start analyzing this fuckery. Um, hey, that's what that man get is. I mean, you know, I'm glad that hey, I catch you in bed in my house with my daughter, with my wife, with anything, and she decided to put water on your ass. I'm gonna put fire in your ass. So, anyway, you catching some heat, you getting blazed upon. Okay. Um, so me being in my late 40s, you get to a certain age, you should be able to afford certain things without a problem. So this older gentleman, I'm gonna tell you up front, I don't have an issue with older men dating younger women. 40-year-old versus with an 18-year-old, if she's of legal age, okay, I'm okay with that. But as you being a 40-year-old man, you should you should have your own house. Why are you up in her parents' house laying up with her? So that brings other things into question. You know what I'm saying? Because the only time that I can imagine someone doing that is if they have a fornicating partner or a wife at home. So they can't bring this 18-year-old woman to their house. Either they can't afford or they don't want any transactional history as far as credit cards or anything like that where they can be found out, so they don't want to use the hotel or the motel. They don't want to withdraw cash. Even withdrawing cash, wife look at their account like, okay, where this extra $40, $50, what was that towards? So you can't get away with cash if you got a wife that has access to the account. You can't get away with the credit card transactions. You can't get away with the cash apps because that shows up exactly who you sent it to in your bank account, and it's an email history. It's email receipts on that, and it's a receipt on your phone on your Cash App account. So this dude didn't want to do anything like that. Okay. So it's the reason why he took the risk on laying up with this lady in her parents' house. So you're a scumbag off the rip because you're not handling, you're not doing grown man activity. You're not moving like a grown man. Okay. So you doing you was on some shady shit, and good for you. You should have been caught on fire, or some fire should have been put up in you. One of the two. Don't do that, and that's disrespectful, immoral. Now, if he was on the up and up, take it to your house. Even taking her to the motel or what have you, that raises suspicion. That raises suspicion. But anything besides the parents' house, you up in her bedroom with stuffed animals and Care Bears and shit all over the bedroom and stuff, and looking like, because she done been there of her whole childhood. So it, more than likely it has some resemblance. You up in a little girl's room. That's my imagination. If the girl hasn't moved out the house and started her own residency, it's just ridiculous. So let's get back into this video and see what the so-called experts have to say about it. Okay, let's go.
Let's begin with you, Lewis. Your thoughts about this?
I don't. I would have shot him myself. You know, I mean, this guy's 40 years old. He's in my house. I don't know why, and he's in bed with my daughter. You know, and if both of them are asleep, I'm not asking questions. You know, I'd have probably went and tried to ground check him myself. But there's something sketchy going on, obviously, because you know it doesn't miss me that he's 40 and she's 18. But this happened at 10:30 in the morning, I believe. They came home. The parents came home and found this. So there's speculation that he spent the night.
Right.
And apparently, there's also story reports that that home has had a lot of problems in the past. So I don't know whether or not this 18-year-old, obviously she's complicit in what's going on. But to set the guy on fire, or, you know, shoot him and set the guy on fire, that's a bit much. But it's given, creepish vibes from this 40-year-old.
And Joe, does that matter if the young lady and I say lady because she's 18 years old, that she invited him over? Does that matter in the big picture? Your thoughts on this situation?
I think it absolutely matters when a woman consents. She's 18. Whether I think they should or they shouldn't be, purity culture dictates what a woman should wear, what a woman should do, who she should be with, who she shouldn't be with, where she should be, when she should be there. But that's not what. I don't see how that is beneficial, especially when she now gets to watch her boyfriend be shot and set on fire. Great. She's not in that relationship anymore, but can you imagine the damage that does?
I can imagine. I mean, she's going to have a long time dealing with that, and she may feel responsible for that as well. Dale, it's a parent, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I was raised a little different because 18 is an adult, but I was always told you're not grown at 18 until you learn how to start taking care of yourself. And I don't really think that just because this young lady is 18 years old, that she is responsible enough to be able to make decisions like this on her own. I do say that as a parent, I hold the 40-year-old.
Okay, that was a little weird. She's not able to make decisions like this on her own at 18 years old, but she's allowed to. I can make a decision at this age to smoke cigarettes. I can make a decision. It don't have to be the 40-year-old. It can be someone her age. What's the difference of being penetrated by a 40-year-old and someone her age? So now I can make a decision to have a sexual relationship, period. That makes absolutely no sense. So you enable these young people to make all these other adult decisions, but now because it's a 40-year-old, she's not old enough to make a decision for that. That don't compute over here. So I don't get that. It's either they're old enough or they're not. They old enough to move out the house. What you think they're gonna do when they move out the house? They old enough to not to smoke stuff stronger than a cigarette. You understand what I'm saying? They can go to the greenhouse down the street. You know, in the country north of us, they can drink at 18 years old. So I'm not comprehending what the hell she just said. I mean, people just talk like off the top of their dome and, you know, freestyle it and what have you, and all kinds of hypocrisies fall out their mouth. It's ridiculous. But, you know, let's go ahead and let this young lady finish up. Let's go.
Very responsible because he should know better to be in a room with an 18-year-old. I don't think the age gap is the problem. I think the problem is that the age of this young lady, she's not able to make really smart decisions on her own. Most kids that are 18 are still in high school. I work at a school. They're still in high school. Some of them are 17 graduating from high school. So she is, yes, legally an adult, but she really is a child. She's thinking like a child. So I expect her to make childish, foolish mistakes. But a 40-year-old, I think that he should know better to be in the situation that he was in. Should he have been, upset on fire? I don't think that was necessary. I think that's a bit much. I think that they took the law into their own hands. But I do think that, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So.
And Dr. Belliard, many people are wondering, why in the hell are you at an 18-year-old's house?
Okay.
And obviously, let's deal with that first and get your perspective, because an adult man should not be going. I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, my thing is, we can debate all day. Should he have been there? Should he have not? Should he be dating her? Should he not?
And then there's the question. Let me finish.
Come on now.
This is her parents' house, not her house.
Now, I understand that, but I will say she is of consenting age. She's 18 years old. My bigger issue is our culture of violence, that we have almost said, oh, okay, well, yeah, he did get set on fire. A man got set on fire.
You don't get that every day.
You don't get it every day. And that was after he was shot. So, and I'm serious though, because my issue is it's a culture of violence where it's like, well, he signed up for that. But what are we really teaching her? One, this young lady is traumatized. So is this man. So is the community. I know you all played the clip. Here's a man that was just minding his business. He sees standby that have to come by, bystanders that have to come by and try to douse water on him because they're seeing a man on fire. So for the rest of their lives, this is generational now. So to me, the bigger thing is, how are we dealing with these issues that come up?
But we're also talking sex, all right? And every man in here can attest to the fact that men do stupid things for sex, always have. If I had to be at work at 6 o'clock and I got a call from a young lady, at 5:15, saying to come over, and it's in North Houston. In my mind, I'm doing math, like, I can make it, I might be 10 minutes late, I'll make a phone call. Now, would there be an age gap like that? No, that's ridiculous. He's got to be a little bit slow. Or she's got to be a lot fast.
Oh, no.
And that might happen. But she's 18. She's an adult. Regardless of how we feel about it, it's legal. She can join the armed services. She can make decisions. I think that more focus should have been placed on the daughter as opposed to him. He's a man. He's going to get sex. And I'm not providing any excuse for that. It's creepish. I don't know what this guy's past is, if he was out sniffing swing seats or something in the past, but
Lewis goes for the lowest common denominator.
Sniffing swing seats. Boy, that's funny. That's real funny. The responsibility is on the man for this reason. And it doesn't make a difference if the woman is 18, 21, 33, 47, 68, 133 years old. The man is the head. The man has the ability or is in control of letting things go down or not. A woman can shoot you her choosing cues all day. It's up to you to ignore them or acknowledge them and act on them. Now the girl said, hey, but I mean, it like I said before, it was something else, and it's something else going on with that man that he didn't want to go to take her to his house or a hotel, motel situation. Okay. And so they was found in the bed at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it was presumed that they spent the night. So something's going on with that man where, he got something else going on. For sure. He's got something else going on. He has a wife or another fornicating partner at his address or the address that he's living at. So he may be living with his fornicating partner. You know, her name might be on the lease or the deed. So so it's something else going on with that where, you know, I'm putting myself in the same place. It's like I wouldn't do that. Well, as a 40-year-old man, the first thing will fall out my mouth. I'm like, oh, that's disrespectful to your parents. Man, what the fuck wrong with you? But if I don't have no other choice and I still want the nookie, yeah, and I'm a low life anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the chance. You say they don't never. You say they never check your room? No, they don't never check my room. Okay, well then, you sure? Mm-hmm. Okay. And they'll be knocked out around such and such a clock, so I can sneak you out the back. Okay, bet. You sure? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how that went. Guaranteed. Go ahead and finish this clip out.
All right, Joe. We want to hear from you, Joe.
All right. So, I mean, the onus is not on the woman about this situation. I mean, this whole men will be men, boys will be boys. I mean, great. We can make that argument and throw that out there all day, but what do we do to actually change that? I mean, if we're so upset that this guy is in the room with this woman and we shoot him and we, you know, set fire to him, what are we actually doing? Right? Besides trying to blame the girl. Mm-hmm. Well, she should have been more responsible.
She allowed him into the house. You know, that was the big issue. I mean, because I doubt very seriously the parents would have shot a 40-year-old on the street corner with their 18-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So this 18-year-old girl, she can't play victim suddenly after she invites a 40-year-old man into the house.
And we can't excuse the man.
I'm not.
He wanted sex.
But
He's
who's
going to get
say
sex.
that she was the one to play victim? Her parents are the ones that responded the way.
We're going to stop here and come back and let you pick up. Remember where you were, Miss Settle?
I sure will.
Remember where you were. We'll be back with the Factor Uncensored in just a moment. We're continuing our discussion on significant age gaps in relationships after mother and her.
Okay, so yeah, that's enough with that. We got the meat and potatoes out of that and what have you. So absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, I put that on the man. The girl knew what she was doing. She's responsible to her parents for bringing someone up in the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure she doesn't have she doesn't have the freedom to do so. Oh yeah, you can bring whoever in the house and you can screw whoever in your bedroom. You know, I'm quite sure she doesn't have those privileges in her parents' house. When it gets to that point, it's time for you to find your own address. Okay, so that's where that's where the responsibility ends with that girl. With that man has the ultimate responsibility because he's have life experience. He already foresees what can happen from doing this. But like I said, this dude got something else going on at his house. So he don't want no paper trail. He don't want nothing like that. And he still want the nookie. So he went on ahead and did what he did, and he got what he got. Bravo for that. Okay. So before we go any further in the show, Mrs. O got something to say to you guys, so we're gonna get into that, and then we're gonna go into we're gonna spin off into, because there was some hypocrisies that came out in this clip, you know what I'm saying, in regards to should older men be with younger women and what have you. And this has been going on for ages. Okay. The further back we go, the younger the girl has been. You know, as far as, you know, 13, 14-year-old girls going into marriage and what have you. And that stuff still was prevalent, as of recent. But we're going to get into that a little. We're going to get into that. We're going to go to how recent it's even. I haven't found any material as of, in the 2000s on this side of the pond in America, in the US. But in the 50s and 60s, we got somebody who did that thing, married a 14-year-old. Okay. So let's get into that. But before we do, Miss O got something to say. Miss O, go ahead and do your thing.
Shalom, family. This is Mrs. O. Thank you for joining our channel. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you would like to support our channel, you can do so by scanning the QR codes to the Cash App or the PayPal in the lower left corner. We would greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
Okay, so we about to get into some celebrities that did the same thing. First up is Marcus Houston. Okay, and then he gonna go into why he did that thing. All right. So we copped this video, the original source, off of, let's see, page6.com. All right. So let's get into it.
Me interested in my wife and so interested, but what can we create so what we can run with, because he doesn't give us anything, so I think that's a lot of the reason why people make up stuff too, because they just can't get it from me.
But don't part of you want to say, well, damn, at least she's black. That's a black woman I married.
What I'm saying? And that's true. I all through the immature days, we would have light-skinned girls in our videos like, why can't you get a sister? Why can't you get a black girl? And then it's like, oh, y'all only like skinny girls. And it's just like, the plus size women was coming out. And I'm just like, man, I just can't catch a break. But it might be true because everybody thought I was their husband. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm taken. And, Maya got me. So, I mean, if you want to be jealous, you can be jealous. But, just love me. Watch the movies, watch the entertainment. Just watch my life from a distance. I married a sister and she's beautiful and smart and talented, and she's caring and loving, and she's everything that I saw myself being in a relationship with.
Right.
And when you look at a person's qualities, like I was talking to one of my friends and I was saying, yeah, okay, I'm 41, right? She's 22. I could have married a 41-year-old woman and it could have been disastrous. They could have felt like, because I'll sit and talk to women that are my age, and they kind of have a different outlook on life. A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman. And I'm very in that generation, like the old days, I would never want to be with a woman that felt like, oh, I don't need you, or I don't, what I'm saying, like that. So, and there's a lot of women my age. I've dated women my age, and they may have baggage, they may have kids, they may have not. It's just there's so many different women that I've dated throughout my life, and this just so happened to be the one that caught my heart.
So, what was your red flags like when you dating through all through? I know you probably met like some of the most beautiful women in the world. What was some like red flags? Like, no, you're out. No, like a red flag is like, I'm done. Next.
Red flag for me always if a woman had a kid. Nothing against single women, single mothers with children. I respect them. I love them. I feel like that's one of the toughest jobs, to raise a child and to also raise a child by yourself and to be a woman. 100% tip my hat, respect to the women that are raising children on their own. But just with me, for when I grew up, I never really wanted kids. And, I would talk to my dad a lot, and he would always tell me, look, have your own kids, because you never want to have, you don't know what the baby daddy's about, so, if you're going to have kids, make sure as a woman that they never had kids before, you can have your own. So I kind of like stuck to that. So that was always my red flag. But then that's a personal choice.
Right.
That was my personal red flag. And a woman with an attitude. Like, just, I don't like women with attitudes, with funky attitudes that, and, my wife is complete opposite of that. She's so sweet. Like, everybody that meets her falls in love with her. She's a people person. She loves everybody. She loves my whole family. She embraced my lifestyle. And that was another thing. A red flag for me was a woman that didn't embrace my lifestyle, because I have a huge life. You have all these people that I know that are my family. I have all this extended family. I have a career. I'm always gone. I'm always busy. And to find a woman that could embrace all of that and say, "Bring it on," that was a deal for me with Maya, because she was just like, I love it all. Let's just move. Let's go.
And so, Marcus Houston, she's 22, 21, 22. When they married, I think he started dating her when she was 18, 19 years old or what have you. In regards to that. Now, if you put in a search on YouTube and with Marcus Houston in regards to his marriage, you'll have content creators calling him a pedophile. People talking about, oh, he said he don't want to date women with baggage and kids. Well, everybody comes with baggage. But he don't want your baggage, okay? He don't want your baggage. If you accept his baggage, that's your choice. Why is he being attacked for his own personal choices? And there's smart choices in addition to that. In addition to that, I said it on a previous show. You know what I'm saying? The stepdad deal is a bad deal. Is a bad deal. Because at some point in time, you're gonna be fighting the kids and the mama on something. The mother is not gonna give you the same regard she gives their natural father. I don't care what the hell he did or didn't do. Okay? So, and then, being in that situation, you can't deal with the kids the same way you would deal with your own kids, right? I mean, you are the man in the house. You can ultimately, if they're of age, ultimately put them out the house and stuff like that and what have you, and things of that nature and what have you. But let's be honest, when they don't do what you need them to do when you want them to do it, you prefer to put some hands on them real quick. You know what I mean? Don't nothing get you some respect like a good genuine ass whooping. And you can't really do that with kids of age that are not yours. It doesn't, as far as the whole scheme of things, especially when with the wife and everything, the whole thing flips and what have you. Now you're in a situation and it's going to constantly, it's like a snowball effect. The snowball just keeps getting bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? So it ends up being a big old mess. It's not really a good situation for the stepfather. So no, do not get into that situation. Like I told you before, unless them kids is no older than 2 or 3, and the father is dead or in prison long enough where when the time he get out, the kid is grown and gone out your house. You know what I'm saying? So there's no outside influence. That's your best scenario. what Marcus Houston said, and he didn't. I don't recall him saying that this was a red flag, but it was mentioned. In regards to baggage, the older you get, the more trauma you acquire. That's just the natural way. That's just natural. That's just natural. If I can afford it, why would I? If I can afford a 2024 anything, why would I go get something with 100,000 miles on it and 10 years old? Why would I knowingly get into a situation that I gotta start fixing and repairing and making it feel better? Doing stuff for it so it can do what it's supposed to do for me, and that's start up in the morning so I can get to my gig. When I can just buy something brand spanking new with warranties and guarantees on it and everything, and I know I ain't gonna have no problems out of this thing for at least 50, 60,000 miles. By that point, the only thing I probably have to do is the brakes and tires. At that point, a little maintenance. Only thing at that point I got to do is do the hair and nails. A little maintenance. And then they happy. They start right up in the morning so I can get to my gig. And Marcus Houston can afford a 2024 anything. So why settle for a 2004 anything? She has less baggage than you 40-year-olds. She's a little bit happier. The world ain't kicked her ass yet. I haven't did any research on his wife and what have you, but more than likely because she's coming from a balanced household. If I had time on the show, I'll get on the computer right quick and I don't even know why that didn't even come up. I should have went on ahead and did the research to substantiate that point. No kids, happy than a motherfucker. No attitudes. She's getting on his game plan. You 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds, y'all be like, y'all think this is a merger. There is no such thing as 50-50. 50-50 to you snatches really means 100-0 on your end. "50-50" means in the feminist world, we agree the only thing that I want. And when we don't agree on anything, we just gonna agree to disagree so don't shit get done. That's what 50-50 mean in the feminist world. And the older you feminists get, the more y'all do that thing, and the more masculine acting, or what y'all perceive as masculine acting, manifest itself. Nobody want to deal with that. I'm out in the world, scratching and crawling, trying to make a life for us, and then I gotta come home and deal with you swinging your dick. Fuck that. I'm gonna argue. This is what I say. Go. Period. You get on my team. You get one mind. We are on one mind, and that is my mind. Because there is no such thing as 50-50. You name one entity, one corporation, anything, one occupation where there's a 50-50 at the leadership spot. And you won't find one. But I extend the invitation to everyone. And then you can leave it in the comments and you can email the email. Let's put that up. There you go. Email MrsOShow@gmail.com and send us the links on where you can substantiate that there are places, there are entities, there are businesses where there is a 50-50 in the leadership spot, where you got 2 CEOs, you got 2 presidents, you got 2 pilots, you got 1 pilot and 1 co-pilot, but you don't have 2 pilots. Co-pilot is subjective or servant to the pilot. They're a pilot assistant. Okay. So everybody got on Marcus Houston about his choices and the words the word verbiage that he used on why
Al Pacino is having a baby
and what have you. But then we gonna go and check out. Let's see what you got to say when White Jesus does it. What you mean by White Jesus? I'm talking about the Edomite man, the Idumean man, when he does the exact same thing that Marcus Houston did. When he does the exact same thing that 40-year-old man that got put on fire and caught some fire was doing. Y'all want to get on top of these dudes and put these dudes down. Now that 40-year-old man, like we already talked about it. He was wrong on how he moved on that. But the basics of it, being him 40 and she 18, I don't disagree. Now how he did his business, I disagree. Marcus Houston in his 40s, he got with somebody that before they was 20. I agree. His reasoning makes sense. But these people are us. So we don't understand. We wanna talk bad about these folks. Okay, well here go White Jesus. What you got to say about him? Let's go.
Al Pacino is having a baby at 83. The actor and his girlfriend, Nora Athala, confirmed in May 2023 that she is 8 months pregnant, and they would be expecting their little bundle of joy any day from when the news dropped.
Apparently, Al Pacino is becoming a parent again. He's 83.
The couple's pregnancy is making headlines for 2 reasons. People want to know who the beauty carrying Al's child is and how they're making their 53-year age gap work. Al Pacino's relationship with Nora Athala was first revealed in April 2022 when a famous actor let the news slip. Jason Momoa took to Instagram to share a photo of himself at dinner with a group of friends, including the 83-year-old House of Gucci actor. Seated next to Al was Nora. The post sent the internet into a frenzy. Many began wondering if the Scarface star and the brunette were romantically involved. Later, the lovebirds were spotted enjoying dinner together in Los Angeles, and tabloids began confirming that they are, in fact, an item. Al Pacino and Athala's romance made headlines for the age gap because the beauty is 53 years younger than the actor.
To make women feel younger, we get Botox. Men get a girl.
While the public only found out about the relationship recently, it's been reported that the couple has actually been dating since the pandemic days. She has been with Al for some time, and they get on very well, an insider shared. We can assume the two have been coupled up for about 3 years now, so they're quite serious about each other. The dinner spotting was the first time Pacino had been seen with a date since his 2020 breakup with Israeli actress Maytal Doan. Apparently, Doan had a slight issue with the 36-year age gap between her and the actor, saying it became too difficult. "It's hard to be with a man so old, even Al Pacino," she said. The actress added that they broke up over a fight, but she loves and appreciates him and was glad to be there for Al when he needed her. "It's an honor for me. I'm glad this relationship happened between us," Maytal said. However, when it comes to Pacino's relationship with Alfala, the age gap doesn't appear to be an issue, even though her boyfriend is older than her dad. Alfala grew up in Beverly Hills and studied at the UCLA School of Film and Television before securing a job as a film producer. She has worked with director Bennett Miller, Brad Pitt's Plan B Entertainment, and agency ICM Partners. Noor's family is estimated to be worth somewhere in the 9 figures bracket. She moves with the wealthy jet set crowd, and she comes from a family with money, an insider revealed, adding she mostly dates very rich older men. Being with Pacino is not the first time Alfala has enjoyed a relationship with an older Hollywood heavyweight. The producer dated Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger in 2017 when the rocker was 74 and she was just 22 years old. It was the beauty's first serious relationship. They were together for around 3 years. Many people had an opinion about the romance because of the steep age gap, but Noor didn't let the negativity sway her and says she doesn't regret the time spent with Mick. Following the end of their romance, Noor revealed her thoughts on their age difference. "Our ages didn't matter to me. The heart doesn't know what it sees. It only knows what it feels. It was my first serious relationship, but it was a happy time for me," she confessed.
Blah, blah, blah,
At
blah,
28
blah,
years old,
blah, blah,
Alfala was
blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's enough of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When he started, she was right for me. And all that. I don't want to hear that shit. All right. White Jesus. Because, see, when it comes to my people, you know what I'm saying, we want to be super critical and what have you when our men move a certain way. But then when we be like, well, white Jesus doing it, like, oh, okay, then I guess it's all right then, you know, it's cool. But then here, okay, so now I already know you want to say, well, she was 30. That other girl was 18. That's a 12 years difference. You know what I'm saying? 30. Okay. And then Marcus Houston, he started dating his wife when she was a teenager and what have you. Now she's in her 20s or what have you. And I don't know when they got married and what have you. So she was started off when she was 18, 19. Marcus was in, his late 30s, and then they got married when he was 40 and she was in her early 20s or what have you. Okay, fine, fantastic. You think you got a point, and you don't. Guess what? I got the king of white Jesus. Yeah, that's right. Elvis motherfucking Presley. That's right.
When Elvis Presley first took to the stage.
This dude, when Elvis Presley first took to the stage, and now we about to get into the video, and you about to learn about the white Jesus king of rock and roll, so-called. And he stole that style, right? But we ain't getting into that tonight. But this dude dealt with 14-year-olds. And we all know about Miss Presley when he married her, right? And before we get into that, Hugh Hefner with Brooke Shields. Me and Mrs. O was talking about this, and I don't know what the hell happened to my notes. I had my notes out, and then my notes disappeared. I had a list of them. Hugh Hefner, Miss O quiet. She in the background, y'all. She listening, but she quiet. She don't want to say shit. She don't want to help me out. Let's see here. Hugh Hefner with Brooke Shields. There was another actor or singer or what have you that was brought out. How old was Brooke? What was she doing in the Playboy Mansion? 12 years old. Don't tell me she was just sitting there and fully clothed with drinking Kool-Aid, lemonade. Maybe I don't know if the Kool-Aid man was out at the time, but lemonade was certainly available. She was just drinking lemonade. Really? So that's another white Jesus for you. What you got to say about that? No investigation, no nothing. But you want to get on Marcus Houston. You want to have you want to go on the angle of older men shouldn't be dating younger women in regards to that 40-year-old getting caught up with that girl in her parents' house. You want to go in that angle. Since you want to go in that angle, let's bring up what white Jesus did. Now is okay. You ain't got shit to say now. Let's get it. And the title is appropriate. Devil in disguise. This is 60 Minutes in Australia. Let's get it.
In the mid-1950s, conservative America had a heart attack. But his young fans, particularly his young female fans, couldn't get enough of the soon-to-be king of rock and roll. Many of those admirers are now distinguished elders. And while they continue to adore Elvis, they're also revealing some long-held secrets. It seems the king actually dated quite a few of them when they were young teenagers. And for those with suspicious minds, Elvis Presley's obsession with 14-year-olds raises questions about him really being a devil in disguise. It was 1956 and the world had never seen anything like this.
I was on the second row. I was up front. It was just wild. We were crazy little teeny boppers.
Hysterical young women whipped into a frenzy by Elvis Presley's wild hip-thrusting and sultry voice.
I remember how amazing he looked. I was just totally in awe, just screaming and hollering and carrying on. I wasn't pulling my hair out or anything like some were.
Within months of this concert, Frances Forbes would become a secretive member of a teen pack of girls dating Elvis Presley. While we've always known that Elvis fell in love with 14-year-old Priscilla Bayou, what has been hidden until now was his infatuation with young girls. Tonight, we reveal the string of women, now in their 60s, 70s and 80s, who all dated Elvis when they were barely teenagers. How old were you when you met Elvis Presley?
14.
Oh my goodness. I was just a baby. I was 14 years old.
You're a child.
Yes, I guess so. I practically grew up.
That's 3 Idumean snatchers claiming they was 14 when they met this man. That's it. Let's keep going.
At Graceland. My mother used to call out here early in the morning and start yelling at me about being home in time for school.
Frances lives just half an hour from Elvis's Memphis home. But since his death, she's stayed away from the place that holds so many special memories.
It hadn't changed. It looks exactly the same. Except
Today, she's decided to bring her granddaughter to Graceland to finally tell her story.
I was out here just about every night that he was home.
Yeah. It was here at these gates where Elvis spotted 14-year-old Frances in the crowd and invited her inside. What was your very first impression of him when you met him up close?
He was better looking than I thought he was. He was incredibly good looking. The pictures of him do not do him justice.
I'm sorry, but what the fuck is wrong with her lips? Those are the most aged lips I've ever seen in my entire life. God damn. You should have been putting Eucerin on that shit since you was in your 20s. Who the hell has your lips aged faster than the rest of your face? That is fucked up. But let's continue.
He had the most perfect face a person could ask for. He would call me Little Francis.
It wasn't long before 22-year-old Elvis was asking little Francis here to Graceland on a regular basis, sometimes for parties with friends, but more and more often, they were alone. Were you in love with him?
Very much. He was my very first love, my very first kiss, everything.
Was it a physical relationship?
So. No, it wasn't a sexual relationship, not really. It was more like, teenagers, they neck, they kiss and carry on, but it doesn't.
Them lips look like they did a lot of kissing. A little bit too much kissing on them motherfucking lips. Them kisses, boy, them lips got millions of miles on them motherfuckers.
That's as far as it goes. At least that's the way it used to be.
In those early years, Frances knew she was one of many, in competition with the local girls and a revolving door of Hollywood starlets. What was it like to share Elvis?
Well, in the early years when I was 14 and 15, you didn't like to share him, but you did. You understood he was Elvis, Everybody wanted Elvis.
I understand there were nights when you would spend all night at Graceland and then go home just in time to go to school.
Many. And there's a lot of times I didn't go to school. I know my mother called out there several times, raising Cain with me about being home in time for school. But he got on the phone several times and he just kind of soothed her feathers a little bit and said, "I'll have her home in time."
Elvis's behaviour is hard to believe, even for author Suzanne Finstad, who's had a decades-long obsession with the singer, especially his unusual relationship with 14-year-old Priscilla. Suzanne wrote the first Priscilla biography 20 years ago, but was recently shocked to discover the King's numerous teenage love affairs.
And I didn't know that Priscilla was not the only 14-year-old girl, that he had a proclivity for teenage girls and that she was one in a long line.
There was a series of 14-year-olds and up until really he was 40.
Yeah, no, it never stopped. And Elvis is someone who, because he became famous so young, he, I think, suffered from kind of an arrested emotional development.
Bullshit, arrested emotional development. When he started when he was so young. How old was Elvis Presley when he started? You act like this dude was the Jacksons. Well, you got what was it, Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson whipping their ass if they ain't got a tune or a tone right. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't underneath that kind of pressure. He was in his 20s when he kicked off. This dude was a full-blown pedophile. And his prerequisite was he wasn't like, if you don't have do you have children? That wasn't a question. Do you have baggage? That wasn't a question. His only question was, are you 14? I'm 14. Okay, let's go. Because that's what I like, 14. If it ain't 14, it ain't for me. That's what he said. That's all he wanted. Wasn't 13, wasn't 15. 14 was his magic number. For some odd reason, the hootie hoo matured to a certain, it was, like how whiskey matures in the cask. The hootie hoo was matured in the cask, it aged 14 years. Now that's right. In a bourbon oak barrel. Ain't that about nothing? Now it's matured just right. Now pour it in a glass and take a sip. Ain't that some shit? This dude was a full-blown pedophile. That was his problem. That was his mental problem. Now they trying to whitewash make excuses for this dude's mental state. This dude's supposed to have been behind bars. Matter of fact, let's go into Tennessee's sexual offense code for a moment. I can't bring this. Can I magnify this any more than what I aggravated rape. This is statutory definitions of Tennessee sexual and violent sexual offense and related codes. I did not know it was going to show like it's showing. Oh, we got a magnifying glass here. Fantastic. Here we go. Aggravated kidnapping, aggravated prostitution, aggravated rape of a child, aggravated sexual battery, aggravated sexual exploitation of a child, spousal rape, assault, criminal intent, criminal conspiracy, criminal exposure to HI, criminal responsibility of conduct, felony, criminal sexual conduct. First degree, let's look at this. The victim is 12 years of age and under. The victim is at least 13 but less than 16 years of age if either the actor is related to the victim by blood or affinity to the third degree. So we talking about third cousins, right? Or the actor is in the position of custodial or official authority. The actor under this subsection must be at least 3 years older than the victim. So the victim is 12 years of age or under. Okay, 12 years of age and under. Second degree, the victim is under 13 years of age. That's second degree. Third degree, a person is guilty of criminal sexual conduct in the third degree if the person engages in sexual penetration of another person if any of the following circumstances exist. The victim is at least 13 years of age and under 16 years of age, and the actor is under this section at least 3 years older than the victim. So if the victim is 16 years of age, the actor cannot be no more than 19. Now, I don't know what the code was then. But what it is now, that's what's up.
When Elvis Presley first took to the...
So let's get along here. We talked about that lady. Her, and then another most played. Let's see here. Let's check this out.
And as you're about to see, his taste never changed, even as he approached 40.
My father had a really long talk with him. Say, Elvis, here you're 39 years old. My daughter's 14. What's I don't understand, the attraction here.
Was Elvis Presley a pedophile? Risa Goss.
Let's rewind that. Did that go over? Hold on one second. Let's play that one more time.
You're about to see, his taste never changed, even as he approached 40.
My father had a really long talk with him. Say, Elvis, here you're 39 years old. My daughter's 14.
39 and 14. 39 and 14. It does not want to land on that picture. 39 and 14. But it's okay when white Jesus do it, right? But you wanna get on Marcus Houston. You wanna get on R. Kelly and Aaliyah. You wanna get on Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. Y'all didn't get on R. Kelly and Aaliyah, and y'all didn't get on Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. Well, for some reason, Marcus Houston was a target. You know, it was okay for R. Kelly to do what he did with Aaliyah. It was okay for, and he didn't marry Foxy Brown, but Foxy Brown had revealed him, and Foxy Brown was one of his lays. But y'all didn't say, oh, we not gonna buy, Fade to Black. You know what I'm saying? The Blueprint 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We ain't gonna do that. The hypocrisy against your own people. Why I say that is because when I was putting this show together, and I was looking at what Marcus Houston was his content, the content that was on him, and I'm coming across stuff like he's a pedophile, and I cannot find any negative. Well, 60 Minutes got a negative spin on this one right here for Elvis Presley, but it's not like, they outright calling him a pedophile. There we go. That's her back in the day with the Daisy Dukes. A whore. A whore. And then you want to have content on Marcus Houston, Marcus Houston, however it's pronounced, and say he's wrong for having his standards. He don't want a woman with children. He don't want a woman with baggage. Well, everybody has baggage. Let me put something hip to you right quick. Okay? Let me put something hip to you right quick. 1 Corinthians 11:9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So we ain't talking about my baggage. I'm the prize. My responsibility is to manage my baggage. I don't want to deal with your baggage because you naturally cannot control your baggage. You cannot control how your baggage affects you. Your baggage affects you in a way that's going to destroy this relationship. So I'd rather not have you with any baggage because you don't know how to manage your damn baggage. With your estrogen having emotional ass. But as a man, if I have any traumas, the Most High has given me the fortitude, the ability to suppress that shit, control that shit where it doesn't affect my relationship with my woman. That's why that's written. Talking about where everybody got baggage. I don't give a shit what baggage I got. if I'm able, if I know that I'm in control of my baggage, and I know that I don't want to let it spew over into my relationship. But knowing how what the nature of a woman is, y'all can't deal with that. Y'all can't do the same thing. Y'all can't do the same thing. Y'all do not do the same things that men do. Sorry. Just doesn't work that way. So that was it with Elvis Presley, because I wanted to bring that out with the hypocrisy. It started with the first video in regards to the responsibilities between that 40-year-old and that 18-year-old girl, you know. And then it spewed off into, you know, should a 40-year-old even deal with an 18-year-old? You know what I'm saying? And then we got numerous myriads of examples throughout history. Current history. That this thing goes on. And then you want to call Marcus Houston. It bothered me because I saw somebody even had on their thumbnail or what have you. I don't know if it was clickbait or what have you, but you're a butthole for putting it up there. That he was a pedophile. And then you got the so-called, you got White Jesus, the king of rock and roll, banging out 14-year-olds for 20, 30 years. You got Hugh Hefner, Brooke Shields. Al Pacino had a PYT. He keeps PYTs. Now think of he keeps them.
We want freedom.
So now we're about to go into the next segment of our show. That hot video. We got Yaqub, Nazir the Chosen, and Paul the Disciple in the video called Free. Let's get it.
We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our own black communities.
You are now flying.
Heard it's the land of the free and the home of the brave. Must have been before they made me a slave. Have you seen it? It's scenic. Full of fields where they spill blood on my folks. Acting like they ain't selling blood fruits to the poor folks. Slaughter communities, gave them all impunity. Then screamed out unity, united in lies. Flying the friendly skies, turning gods to Americans. Fighting for a slice of this American pie. Sang songs over cotton. We was wronged in the bottoms. Our lives was rotten. We've endured the problems. Hung as strange fruit from the south to the Big Apple. Now we're dying for pills and it's bullshit like papples. Paraplegics feel the spirit in these lyrics. As two broken people, shepherds gathering sheep will never want to be equal. I just want to be free. And if you ever knew the truth, then you would want to be me. So I ask, what is freedom? Freedom's when I live in a house with all I need to feed some kids and a spouse. Freedom's not being taxed for every dime that I make. Praying daily for deliverance. How much time takes?
Giving all praises. Let's toast for the wisdom we have. Holy Ghost inside of the glass. Could have been riding shotgun with a pole in the mask. Now on the corner where we set up the class, you know the hard knocks. We got the keys reaching Ghana back to Far Rock. All the prophets riders, you gon' need a bigger car lot. Bishop gave the word, so we fishing in the drug spot. Cause all they know is get a gunshot or get a mug shot. We trying to make the blood stop. Sin causing blood clots. Put up with the sink so when they lick, they get their blood washed. Oppression made a man. Project housing like the cell blocks. Step inside the hood, they got the same smell that hell got. Who gon' set her free though from body bag lights and COs. Games of the CeeLo and puffin' strains to chemo. We got the way out, just 7 seconds to page out. Step in front to lay out the Bible while we came out.
Freedom was supposed to be free. We paid a tab, project rats in the lab as they sit back and laugh. Our foreparents paid an arm and a leg, and the truth is, these spiritual nooses won't allow us to get ahead. Slavery ain't changed, revolt and they got a backlash. IUIC promote truth and get backlash. We hardly get no likes either. They rather see me put more holes in my brother than a Jamaican wife beater. You ain't going against the grain, you never know this should change. Taken away by the wind if you ain't pulling on the rein. I see servants on horses and kings trailing the wagon, looking like a trained dog with his tail wagging. Poverty is apparent in the hood. Never plan to be parents, but make appointments for Planned Parenthood. Greet each other like what's good, but we ain't talking spiritual. They see IUIC and say it's a miracle. We revolutionaries now. Freedom is knowing that we don't need them. Finding the lost sheep and leading. All I see is the kingdom. Kingdom.
We want freedom.
Ooh, that video was absolute fire. Freedom. And the majority of us believe we free. Okay. You done paid off your house, but you fall behind on your taxes, you still lose it. You done paid off your car, but you can't pay, but you messed up on, you couldn't get the registration paid up, so you can't drive it. Get taxed on the money you make. I got to pay you for getting paid. I got to pay you for getting paid. Then I got to pay the vendor. I got to pay them to pay them. What do you mean exit now? What you mean you got to pay? You know what I'm talking about? We got to add an extra fee because you chose us to pay us by credit card or through our phone representative. I got to pay you to pay you. I got to pay to get paid. I got to pay the IRS for getting paid. Then I got to pay the vendor for paying the vendor. I got to constantly yearly pay to drive my car. The car paid off. I still got to pay to drive the car. The house paid off. I still got to pay on the taxes to keep the house. I got to pay to eat. I got to pay to clothe myself. I retract. I know there's no taxes on food. My bad. I was in the moment. Excuse me. For those who want to be, technically, you know what I'm getting at. You free? Okay. You keep going on and believing the matrix that you in. Next up is Snatch Shenanigans. Let's get that. Boy, I tell you, these ninjas. What will they come up with next?
Fox News' Jessica Duke joins us now live with reaction from police and the folks who live in that neighborhood. Jessica, break this down for us here.
Well, first of all, I'm going to keep a straight face because hearing you guys say twerk was not something I expected. But in all seriousness, that bus driver, he really deserves a raise after this. So calm and collected. I mean, women were literally climbing all over his bus and dancing. Now, Detroit police, of course, got wind of this video after it went viral. They say not only is this distasteful, it's against the law.
On a bus. Young folks going wild.
A Greenfield and 7 Mile takeover.
Is that right here? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
A couple of the ladies in the crowd of more than 100 climbing right up on a bus. The driver helpless. He was surrounded.
What do you guys think of this?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they was going crazy.
Jay and Tay, as they called themselves, told us they're bummed they missed it last Saturday morning.
7 Mile was so turned up that night, and you know what I'm saying? To all the shaky butts that night, I'm so glad y'all came out.
Not everyone is as enthusiastic about those so-called shaky butts, namely Detroit Police Deputy Chief Arnold Williams.
It boggles the imagination that people are actually out there just doing this.
We're told DPD's illegal block party detail busted up a party that started at this rental hall and spilled out into the streets. That's not allowed.
About 2:48, they cleared. All the officers were gone. 2:58, we basically had an intersection takeover.
Donuts in the intersection, dancing on the bus, and downright disrespect to the neighbors.
You know, they be all parked all over up and down the streets, throwing out trash.
Larry Long is 70. He does not have time for this, but feels like his hands are tied.
You can't talk to them about anything. Half of them get upset, mad. Some of them pull out their guns, and they want to act crazy and stupid and foolish. So really, it's best not to say nothing to them.
That's where DPD comes in.
As soon as we activated lights and sirens, within 2 minutes, they were gone.
Scattered in every direction, making it tough to catch them then. But this now viral video is making DPD's job a whole lot easier.
Keep videotaping, keep allowing us the opportunity to see who you are, because we're coming to get you.
You heard him. Detroit police are looking for folks that attended, especially the women that were climbing all over that bus. Now, anyone that was there could be looking at tickets for malicious destruction of property, disorderly conduct, even viewing a drag race. Like I say, could get you ticketed. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on the Edge.
Not only that, they can be charged with obstructing or preventing a civil servant from performing their duties. Okay, you know, and that's coming from someone of that used to work for the city of Detroit. Okay, so they're not supposed to obstruct or prevent DTE workers, Detroit electrical workers, anybody that's, you know, in the utilities or what have you, or a civil servant. They're not just supposed to stop you from performing your job. That's I don't know what level, whether it's a civil infraction or a misdemeanor, what have you, but it is a chargeable offense to do so. And that's exactly what they did with that bus, because he couldn't continue on with his route. This is absurd. This is crazy. Now, this happened on 7 Mile in Greenfield. 7 Mile in Greenfield. They wouldn't do that on 8 Mile in Greenfield. 8 Mile in Greenfield is the border of Southfield, the city of Southfield, and Detroit. They wouldn't dare do it, because you got MSP on Wyoming and 8 Mile posted up. They up in that motel over there and what have you, because there's a lot of shenanigans that go up in there and what have you. They also looking for traffic violators and what have you, but MSP be posted over there all the time. Who is MSP Exit 9? Michigan State Police. The state boys. They most definitely not do it at 9 in Greenfield. Now we inside. Now you're dealing with Southfield Police Department. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at 8 Mile, you're dealing with Detroit, Southfield, and MSP. 9 Mile, you're not doing that north of of 8 Mile. Oh, these kids is just having fun. These kids is degenerate. Shaking that nasty ass. Then you got old boy talking about, hey, damn, we missed the fucking show. Tay and Jay or Trey or whatever the hell. This is a result of fatherless homes. The women, the women that's on the buses doing the sexual mating dance, and the young men that's okay with it. This is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all got. Next up on Surreal Sundays is the whiskey of the week. And this week's whiskey of the week is the Westland. The Westland, peated Westland, American single malt whiskey. I had this a couple weeks ago and what have you. Now, it's American whiskey, so it's not considered a Scotch. Scotch whiskeys are considered Scotch when they're made in Scotland. That's what makes it a Scotch. Okay. But for this to be an American whiskey, single malt, and it's peated, I mean, man, the smoke flavor lasted from the beginning to the end, and it was smooth, absolutely delicious. I recommend this. I highly recommend this. This whiskey. I was about to call it a Scotch, because you normally think of a Scotch. You normally think of peated. You normally think you associate it with a Scotch. But technically you can't call it a Scotch because it's not in Scotland. Peated Westland, American single malt whiskey. They are based in Seattle, Washington, US of A. Highly recommend this one. For those who like the smoky, who are more on the lines of oak cask type whiskeys and scotches and what have you, bourbon, oak cask, and the peated. So I'm talking about them smoky, them deep flavors and what have you. So I'm learning a little bit on my journey with whiskeys and scotches and what have you, and it'll come out in the next episode or so when I have the whiskey of the week then and what have you, and we're going to talk about it a little bit then. But as for right now, the peated Westland whiskey, and I'm sure the American oak is nice as well. I haven't tried it yet, but that's going to be on my list. But I love I love that smoky flavor. The peated Westland, American single malt whiskey. Go out and try it and get it this week and enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it, especially if you're a drinker who enjoys the oaks, the bourbons, the smoky flavors. This is for you. Peated Westland, American Single Malt. So there you have it, folks. That's the end of our episode. It just amazes me on the hypocrisy, on how we're so quick to throw our own people underneath the bus, to have an argument and try to put down what our men are doing. But when white Jesus come into play and do the exact same thing, mum's the word. I don't hear shit. You know? Everything's good. Everything is good. So I hope you enjoyed this show. And we got some more coming to you next week. Hope you tune in and everything. As far as the conclusion, look, Exit 9 stance is, excuse me, Exit 9 stance is this. I don't see nothing wrong with older men and younger women. I do see something wrong with older men going to a younger woman's parents' house and doing what he do. I do see something wrong with older men and girls 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. What's the difference between 17 and 18 years old? The law. In addition to how she has physically matured. If she still look like a girl, I don't get it. If she's, advanced physically to a point and she's of that age, I do understand. But if she still looks like a girl, flat chest, no hips, you know what I'm saying, still looking like a girl, I don't get it. The difference between the 17 and 18-year-old for those who want to go there. For me, you will have to look like, you will have to have some adult woman features on you. Not flat chested. You will have to have some type of hips, some type of butt, you know what I'm saying? Something going on. To still look like a little girl, that's that. Then you dealing with a pedophile type of mindset. But that's all we got to say on that. I hope you enjoyed everything. This is the Mrs. O Show presenting Surreal Sundays, and this is Exit 9, your host, and we out. Peace.
mother at home, teach the kids. Yeah, you're my best friend. I know I can count on you to lead me. You complete me. This is how it should be.
So glad I got you in this room, baby. I pray that we age together, me and you.
Be a good portion, wanna be a good wife.
I love what you're saying, baby. With you, I am happy, baby. Yeah.
Marriage is honorable. I'm glad that you're mine.
Lord's will till the end of time. I like that right there. I pray we stay together forever. Now listen, I know things not gonna always be perfect, but we gotta pray, we gotta fast, we gotta do whatever we gotta do.